Some movies are funny. Some movies are scary. Today's movie is funny and scary. I wrote in Vincent Price voice.
Just so you guys know, I never know how these episodes are going to start. I didn't sign off on this.
I'm Erin.
I'm Tom.
And this is Baby's First Watchlist, a spooktacular podcast for our baby's first Halloween. I also have way less prepped than usual because I had head surgery, which after this intro is like the funniest thing that you could say. So today is right in the pocket of high school me. I freaking loved this movie when I was in high school. I was like obsessed. Did you watch it back when it was like out?
I wasn't into movies at that point in my life, but I watched it in early college.
All right, that's good. That's good enough.
Which was like 4 years later. About
then high school?
Huh? Then when it came out?
No, it didn't. It came out in 2004.
Yeah.
We were in college in 2010.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I guess
whatever.
It was longer than that.
We were discussing
2000. When you get old, things just sort of run together.
By. So today we're discussing 2004's Shaun of the Dead. Shaun is spelled Shaun, which is like the third way that I would spell Shaun, to be honest with you.
Is that the British way?
I don't know. I wonder. I actually don't know.
You would think that if they were going with the Dawn of the Dead vibe, it would have been a W.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, but they didn't. They did it Shaun.
Unless Dawn of the Dead is DAUN.
That would be really weird. This zombie comedy was directed by Edgar Wright and written by him and frequent collaborator.
Yep, try again.
Collaborator Simon Pegg. Now, Edgar Wright, you may know as a director of a lot of popular stuff.
Yeah, he's an It director. Not the movie It, but like a hot director.
He just did Last Night in Soho.
Yeah, which
we didn't watch.
We didn't. I thought it looked really great, but then it sort of got lukewarm reviews, and then I never really. It's a little long. Yeah, but I do want to watch it though. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
He is probably best known for Baby Driver.
I think he's best known for this.
You think so?
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End.
Yeah.
Are all part. I'll talk about it in a little bit of like this trilogy. He also did Baby Driver.
Yeah.
And something else. He did something else kind of recent-ish too.
Yes, he did. Oh God, what was it?
Oh my God. Oh no, it wasn't recent. He did
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which
he also co-wrote Ant-Man.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. And he like ghost directed a movie that he didn't get credit for, but I don't remember what it was.
He's done a lot over the past couple decades. And I've liked pretty much everything that I've seen that he's done. So this movie, Shaun of the Dead, was first conceived while both Wright and Pegg were working on a zombie-themed episode of Spaced, which is one of the myriad of popular British TV comedies that I've never watched.
Talking about you, the IT crowd.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. IT crowd. There's like Gavin and Stacey.
What's the one?
There's like,
what's the one that Jesse Armstrong did? The Succession guy, the one with Olivia Colman.
Peep Show.
Yes.
Yeah, there's tons of very kind of well-known comedies in England that I've just never seen. Of course, we've seen British Office.
Yeah.
But besides, and Fleabag and stuff like that. But really, there's like so many British things that like famous people come out of, and it's like, oh, they were in some random show that I've never heard of.
Well, it's not limited. It's not limited to comedies. You have Doctor Who, and you have Luther and Sherlock, and like all these shows that I watched. Luther and Sherlock, but like you get a lot of people that come from those types of shows in England, whether they're dramas or comedies.
It's really interesting. England has its own completely separate celebrity scene.
Yeah.
I'm sure every country does. But with England, it's interesting because a lot of them end up becoming famous in the US, but a lot don't.
Yeah.
And so if you watch Strictly Come Dancing, which is the Dancing with the Stars for the British version, I don't recognize a single one of their stars.
Yeah.
And it's just,
I don't think they recognize a single one of our stars.
that was actually what I was going to ask you.
Do you think there's people in England pounding on the table for Teresa Giudice?
Well, Teresa only lasted 2 episodes.
Well, I didn't know that. Spoilers.
Are there a lot of people that are like, I really need some Cheryl Ladd in my life?
Yeah, I really need, who's the TikTok person and her mom?
Charlie D'Amelio and Heidi D'Amelio?
Yeah.
I don't know.
London is burning down because Teresa Giudice got kicked off in the 2nd episode.
I would think that since it's harder to break into U.S. stardom for like pop stars, my guess is that they really are fans of like Vinny Guadagnino. Like, I don't know. Maybe Sam Champion is huge in England.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Any British listeners out there? I know we have less than 1% of you according to our metrics.
Someone has listened that is
Someone
English.
from England has listened to this, so please let us know. Also, we're at a hard 1% on Australia, so if you're Australian, you might know this too. I assume that you're the same thing as England, so...
Okay, I'm confused. I just saw a tweet that Florence Pugh's Australian.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
You think she was American?
No, I thought she was British.
Oh, no, she's Australian.
Oh, help. Okay, also, there's like a huge percentage of Australian people that are famous, I feel like.
Yeah. It's everybody who's in Australia, the movie. Hugh Jackman, Nicole Kidman, Peter Jackson.
There's tons of other people that are
No,
Australian.
I think that's it. And then Florence Pugh is the new one, and that's it.
Okay. So anyway, this movie, Shaun of the Dead, stars Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Kate Ashfield, who really has not done too much since then, Penelope Wilton.
You know who Kate Ashfield reminds me of?
Who?
She's the girlfriend. The girlfriend, right? She reminds me of the waitress from It's Always Sunny.
A little bit with the haircut.
Yeah.
Penelope Wilton, who actually, I looked her up and I've seen her in a ton of different things.
Very
She's
famous.
very famous. Some of you may know her most recently from Downton Abbey. She played, what's his name? Dan Stevens' mom. Crawley. Lady Crawley she played in Downton Abbey. And so you might recognize her from that. And it also has a nice, excellent Bill Nighy, who I love in anything. And he's so good
whenever
in
he
this.
pops up somewhere.
Yeah, and Shaun of the Dead was a commercial and critical success. The 99-minute long movie, we love to see it, made $30 million on a $6.1 million budget, which doesn't seem like that successful, but it was considered a success.
Yeah.
Since it was released, it has become a cult classic, being named the 3rd greatest comedy of all time by Channel 4, which is like one of those British channels. It's behind 2 very interesting choices. One is Monty Python, Life of Brian.
Yeah.
Not in the Holy Grail.
No.
Which is funny. And then the other one is one that has a place in our hearts, Airplane.
Yes.
1975's Airplane ! Which was the first, or it was the movie that Tom and I saw on our first date, was Airplane, 1975, which I do consider one of the funniest movies of all time.
It's amazing.
It's very interesting, though, that Monty Python's Life of Brian, Airplane, and Shaun of the Dead were the 3 greatest comedies of all time, according to Channel 4.
Yeah. Go Channel 4.
And if we're talking about Empire, which we talked about with the Scream episode, Scream did very well in Empire.
I think you meant the show.
No, not the show. The publication, I don't know.
Yeah.
They named it number 6 on their 2016 100 Best British Films list.
What number?
6.
Wow.
Yeah. And the other ones were like boring, so I didn't even write them down.
It's not like British films are like, it's not like that's like some niche genre.
No.
Like,
there's a lot of British movies that come out every year that are really good.
I mean, just think every single Christopher Nolan movie is a British movie. Like, there's like, you could pick any director. Like,
just think of like the BAFTAs every year that there's so many movies that I'm like, oh, that was British?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that Christopher Nolan movies need to be in the top 5, but I'm like it's a very common thing to be a British movie.
Yeah, well, Shaun of the Dead, number 6 of all time.
Cool.
Fans of Shaun of the Dead include George A. Romero.
Of course.
Is who, Tom?
Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead.
He directed all of those.
This movie wouldn't exist without George A. Romero.
Exactly. Quentin Tarantino, he said it's one of his favorite movies.
I believe that. It has a lot of like hard cuts. I feel like that's a little bit in Tarantino style.
Yeah. Stephen King is also a fan.
Yeah, I believe that too.
One of the things that I thought was really funny.
Imagine I was like, I don't believe that. Stephen King's not a fan of this movie. Not a fan.
One thing that I thought was really funny is that a couple of Simon Pegg and maybe Nick Frost, I think, they were in an episode of Phineas and Ferb as like the Shaun of the
Similar
Dead characters. Yeah, which is cool. So this movie is the first in the Cornetto 3 Flavors trilogy. A Cornetto is an ice cream that I looked it up and I thought it was like, oh, it's a drumstick. It's not quite a drumstick. Drumsticks are kind of like the closest thing I would consider as like an American version of a Cornetto.
But these come in like fruit flavors.
They come in all different flavors.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as like drumsticks don't really come in fruit flavors.
But drumsticks have more flavors than you think, like mint.
Yeah, but that's not a fruit. I didn't say that.
What is mint? An herb?
Yeah.
I guess mint is not a fruit.
No, it's not.
Yeah, Cornettos do come in things like strawberry and all of that. But like I wanted to have an American equivalent and there really is none.
Yeah. Do you want to know my fun fact about Cornettos or Cornetto? I don't know. Does it have a plural?
Maybe.
Is it like moose?
Meese.
In this series and what they represent? It's part of my trivia. It's real quick.
Let me just finish this and then I'll have you do it. So this movie is the first in the Cornetto 3 Flavors trilogy.
Yeah.
3.
I just have what each flavor represents.
Well, and I'll say that, yeah. 3 Edgar Wright Simon Pegg films that are not sequels, but are all sort of horror comedy films. Hot Fuzz was the second. The World's End was the third, and each movie makes passing references to Cornetto ice creams. So they're not in the same world.
The
characters
you
are
see
different.
the rappers in each movie.
So there you go.
And in this one, Nick Frost asks for a Cornetto.
Yes.
So you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
So in this one, it's the red wrapper, which represents blood and zombies. It's strawberry flavor.
Yeah.
In Hot Fuzz, it's blue and vanilla. Like the color is blue and the flavor is vanilla for
cops.
the police. And then in The World's End, it's peppermint and the wrapper is green for science fiction and like aliens because there's like a sci-fi element to The World's End.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I like that.
I love that. I really also enjoy that there's no real connection between the movies.
Oh no, it's just because he wants them to be pulled together by some sort of little thematic thread.
I think that's great.
Motif or whatever you want to call
And
it.
I love all 3 of those movies.
Oh yeah, they're all great.
They're all
And they're
awesome.
all Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Is Nick Frost in The World's End?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He's in all 3.
Yeah, I thought so.
And so and Simon Pegg, of course, is the star in all 3. Simon Pegg,
I've only seen The World's End once.
I've seen it a couple times. I saw it in theaters. And then I've seen it, I think, maybe once or 2 other times.
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz is definitely my favorite of the 3.
I agree.
But whatever. So that's kind of all I have for you, Tom. Oh my God, this might be like the shortest opening if it wasn't for my Vincent Price monologue at the beginning.
Well, we're going to do a whole segment, an entire Vincent Price impression at the end, so.
I was going to just sing Thriller.
Well, we could do Monster Mash, too.
All right, perfect. So give me a nice little summary of Shaun of the Dead, which I'm very intrigued to see how this summary is going to go.
I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
I was going to do the whole thing in a British accent, but I don't think that's...
I don't think you need to.
It's going to probably be borderline offensive. Okay, so Shaun of the Dead. We open up at a London pub called the Winchester, where Shaun, with a U, played by Simon Pegg, is having a pint with his girlfriend Liz, played by Kate Ashfield. Liz is telling Shaun how she feels as if their relationship is stagnated, largely in part to Shaun's devotion to his childhood friend and current flatmate Ed, played by Nick Frost.
Perfect name.
Who it's revealed is playing an arcade game just feet away from the pair. They're also joined by Diane with 2 N's, played by Lucy Davis.
Who you may know as Dawn from the British Office.
Yes. And Diane is Liz's longtime friend, and they're also with Diane's boyfriend David, played by Dylan Moran, reinforcing Liz's point that they never have any time to themselves. And then later on, back at the flat, Ed is playing video games while Shaun gets ready for work as an electronics salesman. They're criticized by their third flatmate, Pete, because Ed is an unemployed slacker who always leaves the apartment a mess, and Shaun enables his behavior because they're longtime friends. Pete also yells at them for leaving the door open constantly, so things are not going well for our pal Shaun. Shaun heads to work, and in the background, you can already see the outbreak coming.
I love it might be one of my favorite scenes, actually.
It's
really
fun.
sets the scene really nicely.
You see some people that are like slow and plotting. You see people get bit even, but Shaun doesn't notice. He's sort of stuck in his own world. He's going to get flowers for his mom, and then he heads to a local convenience store where the clerk is missing. He literally bumps into a zombie on his way to work, but he assumes it was a homeless person accosting him as he continues on. That night, Shaun forgets to book a restaurant for his anniversary date with Liz, and she breaks up with him. So Shaun and Ed head back to the Winchester, of course, and get drunk. On their way home, they pass by another handful of zombies, assuming them to be drunk people leaving the bar. They get home and they blast hip-hop music as Pete complains, having work in the morning despite it being Sunday, and again yells at Shaun to get his crap together. He also talks about how he got mugged on his way home from work and he has a wound on his arm, but that's probably nothing, right?
Uh-oh.
The next day, Shaun and Ed encounter a pair of zombies in their garden, and then they realize that they're zombies.
They're zombies. They didn't even think it was at first.
No, they thought that somebody like stumbled into the garden.
Yes.
And after one zombie walks in through the open front door, they try a few tactics, including tossing a bunch of Shaun's vinyl records at them. They're pretty selective with the records. They save Prince's Sign of the Times, but they toss the Batman 1984 soundtrack.
Yeah.
But it's not enough. They eventually finish the pair off with a cricket bat and a shovel. Shaun also discovers that Pete has turned into a zombie from the wound that he mentioned, and he and Ed run out of the house. Shaun devises a plan to rescue Liz and Shaun's mother, Barbara, and then head to the Winchester. Ed takes Pete's car, and the pair drive over to Barbara's house. Shaun runs in and has a confrontation with his stepdad, Philip, played by Bill Nighy, who has been bitten, but is still alive.
And my king.
Just in general?
I just love him.
Yeah. From there, they take Philip's Jaguar and they drive it over to Liz's place where they pick up Liz, David, and Diane. In the car, on the way to the Winchester, Philip explains to Shaun the difficulties of being a stepdad. He apologizes to him for his behavior right before he succumbs to his wound and becomes a zombie in the car.
That was
with the rest of them.
A beautiful scene, though. It actually was very sweet.
Yeah. The group abandons the car, and on their way on foot to the Winchester, they run into a group led by Shaun's friend Yvonne. That's a mirror image of Shaun's group.
Yeah, it was very funny.
They all walk by and they're like, "Hey, how's it going?"
There's really famous people in that group. Martin Freeman is in it, and Matt Lucas is who's currently one of the hosts of Bake Off and was in Bridesmaids. Yeah.
During a mass melee with the zombies outside the Winchester, Shaun uses himself as a decoy in order to allow the remainder of the group to find a way inside. Inside, David criticizes Shaun to the other members of the group, saying that Shaun has no real plan and that holing up inside a pub is a stupid idea. When Shaun arrives, he discovers that the zombies followed him to the bar, and when Ed plays the arcade game again, dozens, if not hundreds, of zombies storm the building.
So dumb, Ed.
The group fends off the Winchester's zombie landlord to the sounds of Don't Stop Me Now by Queen, because the jukebox was on random. When they discover that the pub's namesake, a Winchester rifle above the bar, is a functional gun. Shortly, he actually doesn't shoot him with it, he hits him with it.
Yeah.
Shortly thereafter, Barbara reveals to Liz and Shaun that she was bitten in the scrum before they entered the Winchester, but that she didn't want to be a bother by telling them.
I love her.
So good. She tells Shaun that although this was her first time meeting Liz after 3 years of them dating, she does approve of her, and then Barbara dies.
Barb.
David immediately takes the Winchester and points it at Barbara, though Shaun steps between them, pleading against logic that his mom wouldn't turn into a zombie. This causes a group argument in which Shaun accuses David of being in love with Liz, which even his girlfriend Diane was aware of and was like, whatever.
Yeah, I
know. When Barbara reanimates as a zombie, a distraught Shaun shoots her. Whew.
Aww.
A few moments later, with David trying to make up for the friction he caused, zombies break through the windows and tear him limb from limb.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Well, Diane attacks the horde with David's leg. And then she disappears. We don't see what happens to her.
We just assume that she doesn't make it.
I think in the commentary they say she's she's alive. Or they did a graphic novel or something after the fact where she's alive.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's cool.
Coincidentally, a zombified Pete, remember their third flatmate, arrives at the bar and he bites Ed before being shot and killed by Shaun.
He really has been jealous of Ed this whole time.
Wouldn't you be?
Who wouldn't
Ed could just hang around the house all day and play video games and whatever. This guy's got to work on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I would be jealous of Ed too.
That's a good point.
Shaun, Liz, and Ed jump behind the bar. Shaun sets the bar on fire to create literally a firewall, but the zombies just walk around the other side and enter through the swinging bar door.
Yeah.
So from there, our gang heads to the cellar where Shaun hands a dying Ed the Winchester rifle with 2 bullets remaining and leaves his friend, who has volunteered for a hero's death.
Aw.
When Shaun and Liz take a lift out to the street, the British Army arrives, apparently with the help of Shaun's friend Yvonne, who they ran into earlier in the movie. And she's like, "Hey, Shaun, how's it going?"
Every single time. She sees him 3 times in the movie. Every time, "Hey, how's it going?"
The soldiers gun down the zombie horde, leaving our heroes safe. We get an epilogue 6 months later. Civilization is back to normal. Some remaining zombies are being exploited for profit, of course. They're the contestants on game shows. They're used for cheap labor, like returning shopping carts at grocery stores. And they're the subjects of dramatic retellings of what is now called Z-Day. Shaun, now living with Liz and having apparently gotten his life together. Their house is pretty nice, their apartment or whatever. He heads to his shed in the garden where he's playing video games with a chained and zombified Ed.
Aw.
And the credits roll to You're My Best Friend by Queen.
That's cute. Oh, another Queen song. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
And that's Shaun of the Dead.
That's an excellent summary.
That's pretty good, right?
I actually am very impressed.
Yeah. There was some stuff that I missed, and then I was like, no, I have to add that.
When you go through it like that, it really emphasizes one of the things that I wrote here, which is that I think that this movie has the most heart out of any in the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah. There's more likable characters in it.
Yeah, and I think that you see growth in the characters. I love Shaun's relationship with his parents. I think that his relationship with his stepdad.
His mom is unreal.
His mom is so cute.
Well, I have a question for you that I'm just going to ask it now. Did the segment with the mom, did you feel like it fit in the movie? Because to me, it was like, that's some hardcore stuff. Like when he's like has to shoot her.
Yeah, I did think it fit.
I guess. I mean, the rest of it felt to me, other than the dad scene, like stepdad scene, felt like it's like a wacky, zany comedy. Like Ed is making like cracking all these crazy jokes, but then like he's got to kill his mom.
I just think that it's a very amplified kind of caricature version of this idea that everybody's got to grow up at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, Shaun's been holding on to his adolescence and immaturity for so long that if it takes Z-Day where he has to like literally kill his stepdad and his mom.
He didn't kill his stepdad. They left him in the car, remember?
Oh, right. They left him in the car.
And he turns the music off.
Yes, you're right. Oh my God, that was so funny. If he has to like kill the zombie version of his mom after kind of making peace with everything with his stepdad and taking that leap into adulthood, then that's what it takes.
It's just so dark.
It is, but it's a zombie movie.
But even when Ed dies, he farts as he's dying. Like,
true.
It's just really real. I don't think it was necessary. I was just asking the question. It's a very dark moment in an otherwise mostly comedic movie.
I just feel like it's supposed to be super symbolic.
I guess surely. But I guess there's no way to have like a funny scene where he kills his mom. Kills the zombie mom.
And think about it. What would be a better way for Barbs to not make it, you know?
I don't know. I'm not a freaking screenwriter. I'm just asking the questions.
I'm just saying. I think that it was, I think it was fitting. I think it was a good kind of thing to be like, look, Shaun is becoming an adult.
He's 29 in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, he should probably...
We're older than him.
Yeah, I know. He looked way older than us.
He was 30 in real life, so we're the same age as him in real life.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm that old. I still think I'm like 22.
Yeah, you're not.
I know. Old now. I'm washed. So my first question...
No, I'm sorry. I said that wrong. In reality, he was 32.
Okay, good. We're good.
Yeah,
We're good.
Yeah. I'll never be 32.
No, never. So my first question is very just overall. What's your favorite Edgar Wright movie? We mentioned him at the top. Do you have a fave? It doesn't need to be from the Cornetto trilogy.
I think it's Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
This one is up there. I think we both said, like, when the credits rolled, we were like, this movie's really good, but Hot Fuzz is a little bit better.
Hot Fuzz, if you have not seen it, it is the second Cornetto movie, and it's Simon Pegg. He plays a very straight-laced police officer who's very, very by the book, and he annoys his people that he works with much.
He gets sent to, like, a small town.
Yes, he was in London, but he is so by the book and annoying that they're like, no, you need to stop. We're going to send you to this like small sleepy town where nothing happens.
Yeah, get out of here.
So he goes to this sleepy town. Nick Frost, who played Ed in Shaun of the Dead, is this kind of, I don't know, ne'er-do-well son of the police chief who also is a cop. And he just like gets drunk every night at the bar and doesn't actually do anything.
He is a very similar character in this movie.
And but Simon Pegg is very different.
Yeah. Ed is a little bit less like mean than his character in Hot Fuzz is, though.
Yes.
But you know why I like Hot Fuzz a little bit more?
Why?
Because of Timothy Dalton.
Oh, he's so good.
He is unbelievable in Hot Fuzz. He's like the guy that they think, like, they sort of set you up to think is the main villain. And he is a villain, but like just his like mustachioed evildoer face, and he played James Bond too. That's the funny part to me.
Yeah.
I just love Timothy Dalton in that movie so much.
He's so good.
Yeah.
And so basically,
But I will also give an honorable mention to Scott Pilgrim.
oh, that's good.
But I've only seen it once. So
Yeah. Yeah. But
It's
yeah,
very
in
fun.
Hot Fuzz, people start dying and they have to figure out why.
it's like a big conspiracy thing. Yeah,
yeah, it's really good.
It's very, very fun.
Scott Pilgrim is also excellent. That's like Canadian.
Okay.
I know he's British, but like the movie's kind of Canadian, I think.
Sure.
Is that just in my mind?
Is Michael Cera Canadian?
You think so? I don't know.
I don't know.
I know that Anna Kendrick is from Maine, so that's as close to Canada as you can get, right?
Yeah, that's almost Canada.
It's almost Canada. I don't know why I think it's Canadian, but I just think Scott Pilgrim is, it just gives me Canada vibes. I don't know.
I actually don't disagree with you. I can't place a tangible reason why that's the case, but you're right.
Does it take place in Canada?
I don't know. I'm looking it up
Am
right
I
now.
crazy? I just
might.
swear it's Canadian.
Michael Cera is Canadian,
I knew that.
so that's something.
Yeah. What about Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
American.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So it's like partially Canadian.
At least I think it takes place in Toronto.
It filmed in Toronto.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, and the setting is Toronto. So it is Canadian. We got there.
I knew it.
We got there.
I knew
Scott
it.
Pilgrim versus the World, confirmed Canadian.
Confirmed Canadian. I love Scott Pilgrim. I first saw that in college my freshman year. It was one of the first movies we watched during the pandemic.
That was when I watched it. That's the only time I've seen it.
And it's excellent.
Very fun.
Very, very fun. But Shaun of the Dead is up there too. I really, really enjoy it.
I just think Hot Fuzz is my number one.
One question that I had, so at the beginning, there's a scene, a tracking shot that sort
Yes.
of follows Shaun sort of languidly, almost like a zombie would, as he walks the streets of London and people are just kind of meandering, whatever.
Yeah.
And I know that it's supposed to be symbolic of
It's a commentary on
Londoners
culture and yeah.
people just kind of looking at their phones all day, not
being
paying
like,
attention.
It wasn't even phones at this point.
No,
it was just
wasn't.
like work culture drones.
Yeah, and being kind of like droning through your day, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, whatever.
Like how he doesn't even recognize any of these people as zombies.
Yes.
Because it's just like normal behavior.
And I thought that it was so expertly shot, right? The cinematography was just so good here. So
Because you have to show him not paying attention to these people while also calling attention to them in the background. So it was well done.
Exactly. I just want to know favorite instances of cinematography. It could be to set a specific mood.
You told me I didn't need to prepare anything for this.
All right, I'll give you some.
Okay.
Because I wrote down a little list. My first one is one of your favorite movies, In the Mood for Love.
Yes.
That's a 2001 or 2000?
I forget when it came out in the U.S. It was something.
Is it a Hong Kong movie?
Hong Kong, yes.
And it is just the most beautifully shot romance I've ever seen.
Wong Kar-wai, the god. It also has Tony Leung, who was recently in Shang-Chi. He was the villain in Shang-Chi. It was his first American role.
Oh, really?
And Maggie Leung, I think, is the female lead. But I don't know if she's been in...
Her outfits are fire throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, the movie's amazing.
The movie...
Sorry, it's Tony Leung, Maggie Chung.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The movie is filmed, it almost feels fuzzy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It feels like nostalgic.
Yeah.
And it's told in like vignette form where it's like a little bit of a story and then it'll pick up like however many weeks later and then it'll pick up again.
And a lot of it, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember it being filmed through things. So like
through
a
doorways.
window or through glass or doorways where you just get a peek of something.
Because it's about a married guy and a married girl and they're like have to like steal looks at each other and like you see sort of both of their marriages decline as they're starting to get to know each other. And it's just the way that the cinematography is almost a character in itself.
Yeah.
Which was really, really interesting. Definitely one of my favorite like shot movies.
Another one that I said was Carol.
Yeah.
Carol is a love story starring Cate Blanchett and Rooney Mara. It's set
Was that Todd Field also? Because he just did the new one with Cate Blanchett.
I think so. Maybe. It is set in the 50s and it's very, again, based in nostalgia. It's beautifully shot.
Carol was Todd Haynes.
Todd Haynes, that's it. Yes. And it's just gorgeous. Like I just could look at that movie all day. It's It's truly stunning. Zodiac
Yeah.
was one I picked. That's a David Fincher movie that just feels very 70s. David Fincher, his movies, I don't know if he always works with the same photographer or cinematographer. They always feel crisp.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. There's just a certain look to his movies where if I were to just get an opening scene, I would be able to pick it out and be like, oh, that's David Fincher. And Zodiac, I think, is the best example of it. And if you haven't seen Zodiac, I definitely recommend it. I know we're in a little bit of true crime overload.
Yes.
But Zodiac's a really, really great movie. Moonlight.
Moonlight, yeah.
I picked Moonlight, of course, which a lot of it takes place, maybe all of it in Miami.
Yeah, in the area.
Most of it in Miami. And you get the neon colors of Miami with the blue. Blue is a very big
like theme
motif in the movie. And blue is just so vibrant. And it's gorgeous the way that the cinematography is able to portray that color in many different ways. And then the final one, I picked a more recent movie, Tragedy of Macbeth.
Yes.
Which is a black and white movie by one of the Coen brothers.
Joel?
Maybe.
I'm going to say Joel.
Starring Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand. And it's wild what they're able to do with just black and white.
Yeah. Speaking of black and white, I just rewatched Citizen Kane recently. And, I mean, it's Citizen Kane. I mean, it's Citizen Kane for a reason. If you haven't seen Citizen Kane, just watch it and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's... The cinematography in that movie is so before its time. There's just so much that happens and you're like, wait a minute. That was in like, a movie that came out in 2015, right? Like it's like, yeah, because they've still been doing it since 1941. It's like it's really an amazing movie. And it lives up to the hype if you're into movies. Like if you're looking for something that's action-packed or whatever, you're not really gonna get that. But if you're really into movies and like film techniques and things like that, it doesn't get any better than Orson Welles, honestly.
Great. Any other pieces of cinematography you can think of that you really liked?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like beautiful individual shots, like in Dunkirk and Blade Runner 2049, and like movies like that are more like a higher scale blockbuster type movies. I'm sure Top Gun Maverick has a bunch of them. Dune, exactly. But when it comes to portraying, like getting story across, as opposed to like, oh, that's a beautiful landscape. Like In the Mood for Love is my number one.
There you go.
I think.
Love it.
Moonlight's up there too.
I said that this movie, Shaun of the Dead, this is the first time I've rewatched it since 2020. There's a whole new sense of reality.
Yeah.
Now that we're, I don't know, midst, post, whatever you want to call it, pandemic.
I read that at some point. I don't know if it was the British, like equivalent of the CDC, what is it, the whatever the health department is in the UK, used this as
NHS?
Like, maybe, used this as like, not as their disease response team, but they used it as an example within their disease response like trainings of like certain scenarios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of freaked out by it, to be honest, when I watched it this time, because a lot of it is sort of very reminiscent of like when you think about people just kind of ignoring the fact that the pandemic existed.
Yeah.
Just like Shaun kind of not seeing what was actually going on.
Yeah.
And it's not a happy reminder when I'm watching it. It actually like scarred me.
It's not warm and fuzzy.
No, thinking of like New York City at the beginning when they were having like makeshift hospitals and you just saw like people sick and dying, like just in the streets. And it's awful.
And this movie, it doesn't even focus on the response part of it. This is a character movie.
Right.
It's not about how London responded or whatever.
It's kind of interesting because I saw one thing on Wikipedia that this was being compared to kind of like as a response to 9/11.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting and sort of a kind of societal so like kind of blinders on when it came to some of the like crazy stuff that was going on. And I thought that was kind of interesting too.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put that together.
But apparently that's something that was taught after that. Now, obviously, now we see a very big connection to COVID.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting. What's your favorite piece of zombie media? I love this movie and I love I love Zombieland.
So I haven't seen a lot of the big ones. I haven't seen the George A. Romero movies.
No, me
George
either.
C. Romero?
Hey.
George A. Romero. I haven't seen like 28 Days Later, which was Danny Boyle,
Yeah.
right?
Is that Clive Owen? Is he in that?
Yes. Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy.
It was in one of them. There was 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later.
Oh my God. 28 years later coming out soon.
Yeah. I am a big fan of The Last of Us, the video game.
Oh, that's being made into a show, right?
It is with Bella Ramsey from Game of Thrones. She was the little girl Mormont who killed like the giant or whatever.
She was awesome. And then Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal is the lead.
I like him.
It was a very cinematic game, and it was like sort of begging to be a movie or a TV show. And it's by the guy who did Chernobyl.
Did they base is that the one where they based the one character on Elliot Page?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. And that was like a big controversy. There was like a lawsuit or something.
Yeah.
Ellie's a great character. So I'm hoping that the show will live up to, the game storyline and all that. And from what I've seen, they just put out a teaser the other day. It looks really good.
It's not out yet.
Not out yet.
Is it going to be HBO?
HBO.
Okay.
Craig Mazin.
All right.
Ted Cruz's college roommate.
Oh my God, that guy. Yeah. The
Or law school,
Chernobyl guy,
whatever.
right?
Yeah.
Was not gonna.
Not a Ted Cruz fan. Craig Mazin.
I was not prepared for you to say that answer. I think that's a great answer.
Yeah. I like the early Walking Dead seasons.
I've only seen the first season and I really liked it. I know it became.
I also really liked the story of the Telltale Walking Dead video game.
Okay.
It was like sort of a story point and click game. The first season was really, really awesome.
Zombies have had a moment
Yeah.
in the past, I don't know, couple decades. Why do you think that is?
I think it's an easy, scary thing that it's like a vampire or a ghost. Like you can do a million things with them. If you think about it, there's a million different ways to create a zombie. Like there's these where they're sort of like slow, plodding, dumb monsters. And there's some like in
fast ones.
There's some like in this video game Left 4 Dead, which I used to play back in the day on like Xbox 360.
Whoa! Shout out!
Yeah,
cool guy over here.
Well, it was cool because there was 4 characters and you could have 4 people play as
that's
each
neat.
character. And there were different ones. There was some that were really fast. There were ones that were really fat and powerful. Like there's so many different things you could do with zombies that make them very accessible and easy to scare people.
Mm-hmm.
People are scared of dead people, especially when the dead people look like them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also there is a
that being said, I think vampires are a little bit more malleable and interesting.
Do you?
Because they can talk. They can do stuff. Like zombies are zombies.
Yeah. I think that with zombies too, you have the whole thing of like a disease that can ravage everybody.
Like, it could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
You could walk in any door and there could be a zombie behind that door.
I think that there's something to be said for that.
But then you can possibly wade too far into the science and the the
boring.
laboratory.
Who cares?
I was gonna say, and then you risk losing a decent part of your audience.
That would be
who
me.
can't
I'd
follow.
be like, I literally don't care.
Yeah.
That's very true. Why haven't
World War Z is another one I haven't seen, but I just wanted to shout that one out.
Like that.
And I Am Legend I've seen.
Oh,
those
yeah,
were ones
that was really good.
Those were ones where they were really fast.
Oh, right. Yeah. That movie, though.
Yeah.
There's something happens in that movie that people got real mad about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sandy? Is that what the dog's name was?
Oh, I thought it was when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
Oh, no. It's when the dog dies. Why haven't werewolves had their moment yet, Tom?
You didn't watch Wolfman?
No.
I did.
Benicio del Toro?
And Anthony
Emily
Hopkins?
Blunt? No, I have not.
It was all right.
Why do you think the werewolf saga, it hasn't really progressed past Twilight?
That's a good question.
Right?
I mean, it might be maybe because it's a little bit outdated.
Maybe.
Like, I don't have to ever walk outside with a full moon.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
I'll just be inside. I'll be watching TV.
Yeah, that's a good
I don't
point.
really know, honestly. I think maybe it's because, well, I mean, Harry Potter. But there's not.
Oh, yeah, with Lupin.
Yeah, I don't know. The movie Wolf, 1994, I think, with Jack Nicholson, which is really bad. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it that I guess is a little bit more niche and a little bit. People haven't tapped into the fear. I don't know. Maybe it's because there's really only like one cause for it, in popular
Like,
culture.
because you're bit by a wolf?
Yeah, or you're in the moonlight or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, there's less you can do with that than there is with vampires who live in cool castles and like things. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's make a great werewolf movie.
Okay. That sounds fun. Let's make a werewolf, like, just like a nice, cozy, maybe kids show.
Well, yeah. Well, we could do like a nature documentary of a werewolf, but he's animated and his teeth are filed down.
Oh, that's cute. All right, perfect. Tom, you have a lot of questions.
I do.
You had way more than me.
I do. Well, why don't we start with like Mrs. Nesbit and the food stuff?
Okay.
Mrs. Nesbit, I guess it's Shaun.
It's Shaun, of course
Our
it is.
last few Mrs. Nesbits haven't been super interesting.
No, this one though I do think
I think there is an identity crisis here. It's
yeah.
just the last few happen to basically be the
main
protagonist.
character.
Or Fiona in the Shrek episode.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely Shaun. I know that he still wants to have fun with his friend and just be kind of like chilling and whatever. But
he
you
doesn't
know,
even, I mean, he likes Ed, but like, even he knows that like Ed is kind of a deadbeat.
well, that's where the identity crisis comes in, right? Like, part of him does like to hang out with him.
He wants to be there with Ed in the middle of the day playing video games, but he has to go to work.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But he knows that deep down that he kind of does need to grow up.
Yeah.
But at the end,
he can have his cake and eat it too.
I know. So
remember, Ed tries to bite him too at the end.
that kind of gets into though. I don't know about keeping Ed as your like servant slave.
He's not a servant slave. That's what he would be doing
He's
anyway.
chained up, Tom.
Are we zombie rights activists now?
Seriously, I think that there is something to be said for that.
Okay.
When at the end of the movie, the zombies are being forced to do menial labor and they're being like made fun of on TV shows. But why are we holding up your best friend? I don't know. I really don't know about that. But whatever, Miss Nesbit.
Yeah. Mrs. Nesbit.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Nesbit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess there are some moral quandaries to it, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I thought
zombies killed a lot of people.
Okay, but they couldn't help it.
I don't like parading them out on display, on TV.
But you're okay with him keeping him in a shed in his backyard?
Yeah, it's Ed.
Oh my God. That's what he'd be doing anyway?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know that's the joke.
He'd be doing it in the living room, but...
All right. What about the food segment? Cornettos, obviously.
Yeah, Cornettos, obviously.
Beer from the Winchester.
Well, the one that stuck out to me, I don't remember the first two things but it was when they get into the bar and David's like throwing food at them and he's like, something, hog lumps, and he throws like the things called hog lumps at them.
Hog lump?
Yes.
What are hog lumps? Like hot dogs?
I don't know. I think, no, they were in like a little package or like a little candy thing, but he was doing it like he was...
Oh, maybe they're like pork rinds.
He was like, why are we at this stupid bar? Like, all it's got here, we have no real food. We have whatever. We have hog lumps. And he's like throwing them at them.
All right,
and they're like, relax, dude.
I'm looking up hog lumps right now.
I'm pretty sure that
they've got to be pork rinds.
I think I read that they were made for they were named for like in the movie. They're not real things.
Oh yeah, it seems. Yeah, you're right. Yep, but they definitely. Yeah, it's a fictitious brand name of pork scratchings or pork rinds in Shaun of the Dead. I found that on Urban Dictionary.
Yeah.
So they're like fake pork rinds. Yeah. Hog lumps. That's awesome, Tom. I did not catch that.
Yeah, it sounds like something from Harry Potter or something.
Yeah, really.
Okay. All right. I got a couple questions here. One, if Ed was your friend and you were in Shaun's position or Pete's position, would you let him stay in the flat? Would you kick him out?
No.
How would you handle the situation?
You'd say, Ed, you gotta go.
You gotta start cleaning up after yourself, or you gotta go.
You gotta go. That's
you gotta
easy.
pay the rent.
That's easy.
Okay, so my related question, you already answered it. Is Pete wrong?
No, absolutely not. Pete is not wrong. Like, Ed is like a third person living there and not paying rent.
And they're leaving the door open all the time.
Yeah.
And they're coming home blasting music at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. It's absolutely unacceptable. Pete is not in the wrong at all. I feel bad for him.
Oh, I know.
In this
and then
case.
he just turns into a zombie.
Yeah.
And then Shaun shoots him anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Pete is definitely the like unsung hero.
Poor
He's
Pete.
the tragedy of this story.
Yes.
Like, that like beforehand he was calling his mom or his girlfriend or something. It's like, I can't with these guys anymore. I gotta do something.
I know.
And it just happened to be
and
on
Ed won't
Z-Day.
listen to me. I have to talk to Shaun about this.
Talk to Shaun. And yeah, it didn't work out so well for him, unfortunately.
Yeah. There should be a redemption movie where it's just a totally alternate timeline. It's from Pete's point of view, and he figures crap out.
Well, did you see that they considered doing
A sequel.
A sequel, but they considered doing it from Yvonne's point of view?
Oh, I saw something else.
Yeah, I saw a couple things. One of them was that they would just redo the movie, but from Yvonne's perspective, Shaun's friend that also survived.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah, the other one that I saw was that they wanted to do a sequel with a different, like, monster. And I think it was going to be vampires because they were going to call it From Dusk Till Shaun.
Yes, I saw that. That was amazing.
But then they were like, nah, this is good enough as a standalone, and they didn't do that.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah. I don't know what my answer to this is, but is Simon Pegg like a top tier everyman kind of actor?
I think so. I think he can also play funny.
Yeah, definitely.
What was he in? The Mission Impossible movies, apparently he was like very funny in those.
He is
the
funny.
later movies. He's very funny.
He's funny as the straight man. Like, he's funny.
Oh, yeah. I think that he's definitely top tier. I would also give you a Jason Bateman as a top tier straight man.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I think that it's a very difficult role to play.
Yeah.
When you have to be the serious one.
When you have to be like the Jerry Seinfeld kind of.
Yeah, well.
When you know that you're probably not going to be anybody's favorite in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that he plays the like very much the straight man in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
And then World's End, he's a little bit wackier.
Yeah.
And I actually prefer him in the everyman role.
Yeah.
So that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There was another thing that he was in that I really like. I'm looking it up really quick right now. It was something, I think, again, where he was like an everyman sort of deal. He was in Star Wars.
Yes.
He was good in The Force Awakens. And Star Trek was the other one. Mm-hmm. He was Scotty in Star Trek.
Yep.
Of Chris Pine.
2009's Chris Pine Star Trek fame.
Yeah. He was in that one.
Yes. Don't Worry, Darling fame.
Yes. He is now of Don't Worry, Darling fame. So there's a scene in the movie where it was right after Liz breaks up with Shaun. And Ed and Shaun are at the Winchester, of course. And all of a sudden, the jukebox comes on random because apparently this jukebox just plays random songs.
Yeah.
And the random song it decides to play at the time of the breakup is Chicago's If You Leave Me Now.
Yeah.
Do you have a song, like, let's say it was a breakup song that you would, or any song that you would be like furious if it played at a bar randomly like that?
I saw you wrote this question. I don't have an answer to that. If I'm going with if I just got broken up with, I would not want to hear Adele, Someone Like You.
Yeah, right.
Like I wouldn't want to hear a sad breakup song.
Someone Like You is good.
Right? I think if you're going in the John Mulaney direction, What's New Pussycat for 75 times in a row, probably would not want to hear that.
That's one of our favorite John Mulaney bits.
So funny. My thing is I just would not want to hear a song more than once in a row. Like if you're playing Aqua's Barbie Girl once, that's fine. If it plays for a fifth time in a row,
honestly,
that's
if you get to like the second verse of it, it's like, okay, let's move on here.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to hear Cotton Eye Joe.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to hear like Right Said Fred.
Yeah.
Like I would not be interested in anything like that.
Flock of Seagulls, I Ran So Far Away.
That song kind of slaps.
Yeah,
though.
maybe I would want to hear that one on repeat.
I kind of would. You know, I think if you play like Toto's Africa, but then you play Weezer's Africa, like I don't need that.
Yeah.
You know, like let's just keep it moving with different stuff.
All right. On the other hand, if you could pick a song, like Ed always has to have music on when he's driving. If you were like flying down the road during a zombie apocalypse, what's the song that you would want to be playing?
Oh, it's those two songs that you added to our baby playlist.
Oh, Born to Raise Hell by Motorhead.
Yeah.
And Hellraiser by Ozzy Osbourne.
Definitely. I think the Motorhead one is probably going to be my choice.
Yeah.
Born to Raise Hell by Motorhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be my zombie kick butt
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
What are the ones that they use in There was a couple in Zombieland. Zombieland has. I
gotta rewatch.
Oh, that's another one of my favorite.
I said Zombieland.
I missed that. I was too busy thinking.
Zombieland is so good.
Yeah, that's up there for me too. I have a couple of zombie apocalypse questions for you. I sent you these, right?
Yeah, I'm ready for these.
What weapon would you want to use?
A rolling pin.
Okay.
Because number one, it's themed because I do like to bake.
Yeah.
Number two, you can kind of squish them, which is like if you're squishing somebody's head, you can roll their heads. So
you know that they still are made of like bones, right?
You squish you like jump on it and roll it. And then
They're not the Pillsbury Doughboy zombies.
Ew. But also you can like turn them to the sides and poke their eyes out.
Okay, so is it just a regular rolling pin, or are there like knives on the end of them?
well, that's it. It's very customizable.
Yeah.
If you just take a couple of pen knives and you're good.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, I like a rolling pin. It's also a blunt object, so you could just smack somebody with it.
I'll accept a rolling pin.
It's made with a nice sturdy wood, but I do have one that's made of like a fake marble, so you can also go with those. That might break though.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna stick with a solid wood rolling pin with knives stuck on the ends.
Perfect.
What would yours be?
I didn't think of one, but I don't know. My CPAP machine?
Yeah, your CPAP machine is pretty
It's a
intensive.
brick. It's a brick.
I just think it's plastic though.
Yeah.
I think you need something wood.
Okay, or a brick.
A brick would be good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, swords are the coolest, but I feel like swords are bad for zombie apocalypses. Because if you get stuck, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You get stuck in an organ.
You just need
done.
You need a blunt object.
You need a blunt object.
The cricket thing that Shaun has is
Oh, it's
good.
okay. Well, I guess I do play men's softball, so maybe I could go to this like a aluminum bat.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
it's not flashy, but it works.
Yeah. That's not a very exciting answer, but we'll take
No,
it.
it's not flashy, but it works.
Yeah.
Like me.
Aw.
If you could pick one actor or movie character to align with in the zombie apocalypse, who would it be?
It doesn't have to be from Shaun of the Dead, right?
No, anyone.
I picked Bruno from Encanto.
Okay.
Because he was
Why?
able to hide from his family for like decades. Like they don't talk about him.
They sing about how they don't talk about
They
him.
don't talk about him. He's nowhere to be found. He lives literally in their house for like
Yeah.
decades.
That is pretty good.
And nobody can find him. Nobody knew he was there.
Yeah.
Like I'm sticking with Bruno, baby.
Wow. Bruno.
Did you like that answer?
Yeah.
John Leguizamo?
Johnny Legs.
He probably would be so annoying.
Famous Italian John Leguizamo.
But if I would be good with it if it was Z-Day. If it was like one day that you had to
Yeah. And then the army comes in and takes care of everybody.
I'm picking Bruno.
All right.
Not Bruno like Borat Bruno.
No. I'm going to go with Bruno from Bruno. No.
Did you think about an answer to this question?
No, but I would probably take some sort of an Arnold Schwarzenegger character with me.
Yeah, you could go the other way. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like, are you going to do the hide route or are you going to do the fight route?
I'm going to take the Terminator, T-1000.
Okay.
He'll find his way through. He may die at the end, spoilers, but he'll find his way through. And then there's more of him they could send back from the future. I've got it handled with Arnold.
Okay.
With the T-1000.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. No, I'm sticking with Bruno.
Okay, that's fine. It's two different strategies. You're going out, or no, you're going in, I'm going out.
Exactly.
Okay. Would you try to find a cure, or would you just hide somewhere? That
I would
answers your
just hide.
question.
I would just hide. I don't need to be a hero here.
Yeah.
Let's face it. We're not doing that. We're just going to hide. We're going to wait it out.
Yeah.
We're going to find
You and Bruno are going to play like cards or something. Go
Yeah,
fish.
exactly. And
Yeah.
that'll be fun. You keep the TV on. You know what's going on.
Are you sure? I don't know if you can keep the TV on once they start pulling down power lines.
Well,
What happens if you don't have TV? Then what?
then I'm screwed because I need my diners, drive-ins, and dives.
I'm doing the zombie apocalypse with Guy Fieri. That's it.
If they bring down my guy,
Listen.
then guess what? I'm fighting.
Listen. That man we will make it work. He will show us the finest zombie meat imaginable
Doesn't
everywhere.
matter, yeah.
We'll make it through. Me, the T-1000, and Guy Fieri.
Yeah, that's my other answer on who I'm keeping with me.
Yeah.
Guy Fieri.
If I end up with Bobby Flay, I'm killing Bobby Flay and I'm just doing it myself.
Yeah, so I'm team hide. I'm definitely not team find a cure. You know I'm not finding a cure. What do I have in my brain that will help like the world?
Well, like in The Last of Us, the whole thing is that the girl's immune. So it's like if
Okay.
you end up with somebody that's immune, or if you're immune,
Yeah, but how do you know if you're immune?
she got bit.
Okay, but I'm not taking that chance. I don't want to be bit.
Okay. So Shaun, when this all goes down, immediately is like, we got to go to the Winchester. What is your Winchester if this happens?
Okay, so
Let's say it's not your house.
No. Yeah, no. Mine's going to be a Mattress Firm because there's nobody that's ever had.
No one's ever going to be in there.
Have you ever seen anyone in a Mattress Firm?
They have so many sales.
They always have sales.
50 promotions at a time.
I've never seen anyone in there.
More people listen to this podcast than go into a Mattress Firm.
Barely anybody. I think a Mattress Firm.
I think that is the perfect answer.
Thank you.
If this was Family Feud, it would be like 98
Yeah.
out of 100.
You've seen the conspiracy theories about Mattress Firms being like a front for
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I'm picking Mattress Firm. It doesn't matter which one. Honestly, it could be the one in the middle of like London. It does not matter.
The one next to the Acme down the road. It could be any of them.
Oh, I know that one. Have you ever seen a soul near there?
No.
Never.
No.
Yeah, Mattress Firm.
Living or dead.
Do you have an answer?
Mattress Firm was one of the ones that I threw around in my head.
Maybe like IHOP after noon.
Yeah, because you don't want to go IHOP like 5 in the morning or 3 in the morning because people will be there.
People will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the ones that are open 24/7?
You got to think about, the places that people aren't going to go.
Yeah.
Like maybe a DMV. No one's going to want to go there.
Yeah, but how many zombies? I mean, I feel like when you're in there, you're surrounded by like 8,000 zombies.
Fake it?
So you're going to like smear zombie all over yourself to smell like zombies and you're going to blend into the DMV.
Yeah. I would like be behind the desk at the DMV and be like, next.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. This is like probably the worst place to be. There's another game that I forgot about, Dead Rising.
Yeah.
Where you are at a mall and it's filled with zombies. You don't want to be in the mall when the zombie apocalypse hits.
Depends on which store though.
Any of them.
Like, I feel like if you go
if you're in like Brookstone, you're probably fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to be in a Spencer's.
Right.
That place is popping. Like, you don't.
Spencer's, that place is popping. That's our first sponsorship right there.
Like, you're not going to catch me near Annie Ann's. But if there's like a salad place, I could go Sue's Salads. I'll go there.
Salad Works.
Yeah, exactly. Like behind the Salad Works counter at a mall.
I think that if you were in like Urban Outfitters, though, you'd be able to take those zombies.
The Urban Outfitters zombies?
Yeah.
Depends.
The people that are in Urban Outfitters, if they turn into zombies, you could probably take them out.
I don't know.
They also sell weird stuff in Urban Outfitters, so you could probably grab a weapon in there too.
Maybe. They do have some really cool, like, vintage graphic tees. So if you're going down, at least you can wear, like, an Ozzy Osbourne t-shirt.
Yeah. Or, like a old Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan shirt.
I was about to say, like, an old Philadelphia Eagles sweatshirt that Princess Diana wore once that, like, they're like, oh, selling it for $250.
Exactly.
Your bike shorts.
Oh, man. We are not comedians. What did you think of the way that the zombies like looked and acted? Is there anything you would have changed to make them scarier or funnier?
Aw, I wonder if you hear that. That's so cute.
I'm leaving it in if you do.
No.
You would make them faster or dumber or more slapstick?
I think they were perfect.
Okay.
Like, they're just straight up, they're zombies, they do what zombies do. I like that. I like that it's like, okay, you don't have to be the smartest or the fastest to survive a zombie apocalypse in this world.
Yeah.
Like, you can just try and maybe you'll succeed and maybe you won't.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
I don't need the only people to survive to be people that are immune or or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, you can
But
be.
Arnold's gonna survive though. That's the bottom line.
That's fine. But I also want someone that's normal like Shaun to be able to survive. So I think that they're perfect. They are just lumbering, they do their thing, and you try to just hide from them. I like that.
Okay. You already answered whether you would have domesticated a zombie.
No, the answer is absolutely not.
So we, in a bunch of our previous episodes, we've done a little bit of an analysis of the rom-com love interests. We've done it for Mean Girls, we've done it for My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and we've done it for Legally Blonde. This one is not quite a rom-com, but the romance is an element of it, or at least the relationship is an element of it. What do you think about Liz in this movie?
I think that Liz is like real. Like, I think that there have been many Liz's out there.
Yeah.
And she's very realistic. I think that their relationship is pretty
common.
I don't know. Common.
Yeah.
Like, I like that.
Like if you're dating like a sort of a man-child.
Yeah, exactly. And she likes her boyfriend. He's a nice person. She likes him.
They've been together for 3 years.
They've been together for 3 years. She just wants him to like be an adult.
Hang out with her.
Like, hang out with her and take her to a nice restaurant. Not hang out at the same bar with this idiot the whole time.
Hey, her dumb friends are there too.
Listen, she's not perfect either.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think Liz is great. I don't think that you could, hang a movie on her.
Okay.
But I think that she's a great supporting character. I want her to live. I want her and Shaun to be successful and have a good relationship, and that's what ended up happening. But is it setting the world on fire? For me, no.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that there's anything to... I would sort of... There's a little bit more meat here, but I would sort of equate her to Luke Wilson's character in Legally Blonde in terms of his effect on the movie and her effect on the movie.
Yeah.
Like, they're there to prop up the main character and give them something to either, you know, strive for or give them a goal at the end.
What I do like is they didn't make her the nagging girlfriend where it's like, oh my God, like, and she's seen as the, like, yeah, you better listen.
They could have done that after the first scene, but after the first scene, they don't really do that.
No, because you kind of see her perspective and you're like, yeah, he is an idiot.
Yeah.
And I like that. I don't.
Liz and Pete are right.
Exactly. And that's part of the charm of it, right?
Yeah.
We still love Shaun and want him to do well, but we know that Liz and Peter are the ones that are actually in the right here.
That's pretty much all I've got in terms of questions, because we sort of answered them as we went through.
Yeah.
So I have some trivia.
Woo!
Going back to the death scene of the mom, this is what made me think, like, oh my God, this is really dark, other than watching it afterwards. Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg said that Simon Pegg reacted to the idea of her dying as if his own mother was being killed.
Aww.
And after the death scene was filmed, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost actually cried.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's dark for this movie.
It's a zombie movie.
It's a zombie comedy.
So what? It can be deeper.
I guess. Anyway, so you remember the guy, the zombie who has like his arm cut off?
No.
There's they do like a little like bit with the zombie with his arm cut off, and they like make fun of him. He is a real like a guy with an amputated arm.
Yeah.
He's an amputee stuntman, and he's also a master fencer.
Wow.
Simon Pegg said that he jokes about his arm all the time, and he would often walk around with it dressed up as a bloody stump, like on set.
Aw.
I just think that's funny. His name's Tim Bagley.
Shout out, Tim. We love you, Tim.
Yeah. Do you know who the production originally approached to play Barbara?
Well, let's see. If we're going older British woman, like Judi Dench.
Helen Mirren.
I was going to say Helen Mirren, darn it.
She said no because she wanted to be funnier if she was going to do a movie like that.
Yeah, Barbara is not. I think Barbara's really funny, but
she's
like
funny in the way where she's like, I don't want to, be a bother, but I got bit by a zombie.
Yes. Do you know who else would be good? Is Imelda Staunton would have been good in that role too.
Who was Umbridge in Harry Potter.
Yes. She's so cute. What was the movie that we really liked her in?
Was she in Vera Drake?
Yeah, that was
and
it.
She was in Pride also?
Yes.
Yeah. She's totally different from Umbridge in both of those movies.
Yeah. She's a great actress.
She is great. George A. Romero loved this movie so much that Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright cameoed in Land of the Dead 2005.
That's really
as
cool.
Zombies.
That's neat. Why, like George A. Romero, like, I'm sorry, but does he just play the hits?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just gonna give the people what they want.
I think he has a lot of movies. He's only really known for the zombie movies.
Yeah, he probably did other stuff.
Related, I should have said this when I asked you the question about the characteristics of the zombies, but Simon Pegg, when they asked him, an interviewer said, like, why did you make these zombies slow? Like, why was this the creative choice that was made? And he said, because death is not an energy drink.
That's awesome. If it was, though, Tom, which energy drink would it be?
Bang.
Bang, baby.
Yep. So, the From Dusk Till Shaun sequel, idea. Yeah. There's a mock-up poster of From Dusk Till Shaun in another movie that we covered.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What movie?
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
No way.
Yeah, it's like in the background somewhere. It's from Dusk Till Shaun.
That is so cool. I wonder who was a fan. Someone must have been a fan.
I gotta like next time I watch that movie, I gotta look out for it. I love stuff like that. Yeah. Little I also love this.
Mickey Mouses. What are they called? Hidden Mickeys.
Easter eggs.
Easter eggs.
Hidden Mickeys is like when you go to Disney World, you freaking weirdo.
Oh.
I also love this. I like in things like Detroiters and stuff like that, where all the newsreaders and TV presenters are real people playing themselves.
Yeah, I like that too.
I love when they take like local little things and make them into, put them in the movie.
Yeah, that's always fun. John
and Bernie are the people who run the Winchester.
Yeah.
They mention them. Those are the real names of the landlord and landlady who used to run Simon Pegg's local pub called the Shepherds.
That is something that I was going to say is in every one of these Cornetto movies, pubs are kind of central to every single one of the movies.
Yeah.
World's End is about them like doing a pub crawl. Hot Fuzz, they're always at that one pub that serves like the underage kids.
Yes.
And then the Winchester is a big focal point. So it's interesting that pubs have a huge role in these movies.
I think it's because in all these movies, Peg and Nick Frost play like sort of blue collar characters, and like, what do you do after work? You go get a beer. Like that's just the culture.
Right.
So Peg and Frost were regular attendees of the Shepherds like trivia night on Thursdays.
Love.
And that's why when Shaun's knocking on the door, he says like something like, "We do the quiz," like referencing what they were doing in real life.
Cute.
Then there's the part about the Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy. Oh, Shaun yells at Ed for calling them zombies because, like, you just don't do that. Most of the iconic zombie movies, including Night of the Living Dead and Resident Evil, never use the word zombie at all.
Right.
Apparently, it's also could be a reference to Danny Boyle, who directed 28 Days Later, because he insisted that 28 Days Later is not a zombie movie.
Do you think that we haven't seen it 28 Days Later?
I really want to watch it.
Do you think that it has a similar energy to Train Spotting and 127 Hours?
Like just frenetic?
Frenetic, chaotic?
Probably. We do need to watch 28 Days Later.
When I watched 127 Hours, I was shocked.
That's the one with James Franco where he gets caught and he's like the what is he doing?
Climbing
he's
stuff.
He's like a free climber or whatever.
Yeah.
And he gets caught in between the rocks.
Okay, first of all, that movie, I was not into it until the last hour.
Amazing. Incredible.
I was shocked. I almost threw up. It was amazing. Like, I was disgusted.
Yep.
It was so well done. Like, I truly thought I was going to vomit. And that is the highest compliment I could give that movie.
That's what the point of that end of that movie is.
Wild. I felt lightheaded. Lightheaded. When I watched him chop his arm off. I watched that man chop his arm off. That was wild. I wonder if they do that in 28 Days Later.
Cut their arms off?
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll have to watch it.
You never know. We're going to watch.
So you know how Barbara calls Shaun Pickle?
Yeah.
That's what Edgar Wright's mom called him as a kid. And apparently also she was a teacher at his school and she would call him it at school and he would get really embarrassed.
I love.
The guy who played Pete, this is wild. The guy who played Pete, the other roommate, he was the voice of Darth Maul in Star Wars Episode 1.
He's the one with like the cool mask.
Yeah.
With like the black and red.
Yeah, and the double-sided lightsaber.
Did people not like him or did they like him?
I think the movie wasn't good and he was underutilized, but he's an iconic character.
So like Jar Jar Binks?
No.
I don't know anything about Star Wars, really.
Okay. Well, we're going to do some of them probably.
Wait, so is Darth Maul related to Darth Vader?
No, Darth is like Lord.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like not the singer, the like Lord Vader, Lord Maul. Like it's like something similar to that. It's like a title.
Don't you think that
Darth Sidious is
I would
also
have thought that like Darth would be like a popular name.
like Garth?
Yeah, like Garth. Is Garth a popular name?
Yeah, Garth Brooks.
That's why we named it our son.
Yeah, exactly. Garth from Wayne's World. Come on.
Yeah. Darth,
That's
though,
2 in the last like 40 years.
Garth, imagine if it was Garth Vader. And he was like, live like you were dying.
Devil can't write a love song.
He just like, all he did was play a guitar.
Yeah, I would be so mad if he told me he was my father.
Who, Garth?
Garth Vader. This guy sucks.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So during the Remembering Z-Day montage at the end, there's a long shot of the zombies walking through a park for whatever reason.
Yeah.
There's one in black who falls over himself, and that is Edgar Wright.
Oh, great. Love.
He's also...
I love a cameo.
He also does a voice cameo as the host of like the Italian restaurant. Like he's like over the loudspeaker.
Nice.
Yeah, so even though according to... There was a Zombometer feature, like on the DVD or something, said that Diane died. This is what I was talking about earlier. There's an animated special about what happened to Diane when she left the Winchester. It explains that she makes it through the crowd of zombies, climbs a tree, passes out, awakens to silence, and out of fear, she stays in the tree for days, eats David's severed leg, and eventually goes to live with her aunt.
Oh, okay.
And that's it. She
Love.
remains in Christmas card contact with Shaun and Liz.
That's very British. That is the most British ending.
This is my last piece of trivia. At the end of the movie, there's a fake trailer about a boy named Ramirez who, using a shotgun, fought off his entire zombie family.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yes.
That's a Menendez brother reference.
Oh, no. Oh, no. We're not doing that.
Yeah, it's a spoof of Lyle and Eric Menendez who murdered their parents with a shotgun in California in August 1989.
And we know, of course, one of them
Yes.
was the co-owner or something of Chuck's in Princeton.
Yeah, where I've been many a time. That may be my Winchester.
Chuck's.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's really all I've got for trivia.
Nice.
One other thing. Simon Pegg is one of the few performers to have achieved what Radio Times calls the holy grail of nerddom.
Okay.
He was a popular supporting character in Doctor Who, Star Trek, and Star Wars.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
That will do it. That's for sure. If you had to add another one, what would it be?
Ooh, at one point it would have been Game of Thrones, but not now.
What about Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings is probably the other one.
Right?
Yeah.
Or a Dungeons and Dragons thing.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a Dungeons and Dragons like.
Okay, first of all, how has there never been a Dungeons and Dragons like big TV show?
I feel like there probably was.
Probably was like a movie or something.
Yeah.
It just didn't do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other stuff do I have here? I have a little bit on Edgar Wright's use of music.
Yeah, I mean,
I
he's
didn't do a
good
whole lot.
with that.
Yeah.
I know Baby Driver, that was a whole thing.
Yeah, he said that he said this. Simon and Nick always used to go to the same pub around the corner from their house, and they used to kind of annoy me. It's sort of like the dialogue that Kate Ashfield has in the movie. That's like me talking. If you wanted to hang out with Simon and Nick, you had to go to this pub. They, and I'll say this on record, thought it was amazing, but it was a hole, which I'll bleep that out. Simon absolutely disagrees on that. Around the time we were writing it, I used to find it funny. Like, why do you guys love this pub so much? There's nothing special about it. You'd be sitting there in the afternoon talking, and then the jukebox would, like, suddenly ELO would start to come on. So it was just the idea of, like, in the tense situation, what if the jukebox just started playing? And what if it was the most joyous song possible?
That's
which is
so cute.
him talking about
Chicago.
Don't Stop Me Now.
Don't Stop Me Now.
When it comes on, when they start fighting the zombies. Yeah, so, I mean, he
That's cute.
he clearly takes little anecdotes, and Baby Driver is like about music.
Yes.
So I didn't really like that movie, but he uses, I mean, without getting into the Kevin Spacey and the Ansel Elgort of it.
Oh, Lord.
He's very big on including needle drops and stuff in movies, and he's very, very good at it, as you can tell by this movie. He's got 3 really notable ones. What else? Yeah, he a lot of Queen. Oh, I know that it's like all a zombie joke, but I loved when in the beginning when Shaun was on the phone with Barbara and she asked what she should make for food, because these days a lot of people don't eat meat.
Yes. Yeah, it's so funny with zombie movie.
But it's also like very progressive of her.
Yeah, queen.
Instead of being like, oh, come over and eat, spaghetti and clam sauce.
Lamb.
Yeah, exactly. It's not My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Right. But it's supposed to be a zombie joke.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
But it's also a little bit of characterization. The zombies, I also wrote that they remind me of Safdie Brothers characters. All of them.
Oh my God. Yeah, I love Safdie Brother movies have the craziest side characters ever.
There's also explicitly 2 people that remind me of that, and it's those 2 guys who are like, they're nearly identical looking. They're like hillbillies, and they're wearing like Canadian tuxedos, and they have like skullets.
Love it.
And it's like Josh and Benny Safdie would Josh Safdie?
I think so.
The Safdie brothers would have those guys in their movie.
In their movies, totally.
And one last little thing I did notice was that it was 2 things related to Barbara. Again, one was when she said, I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want Shaun to be worried. I didn't want to be a bother. And the other thing is, before she reveals she's been bit, you can see her playing with her left wrist in the background a lot.
Yeah.
I thought that was just a cool little thing for a rewatch that you catch later on.
Smart.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm pretty much done with this.
That's great.
It was a great movie, and it's a good episode. We're actually reasonable on time.
Well, Tom, you didn't ask the last question.
No, I'm not done yet. My last question is, does Shaun of the Dead make baby's first watch list?
Yeah.
What are the takeaways? Don't say the N-word like Ed does in this movie.
That's really bad, actually.
Very bad.
I was like shocked by that.
Very bad.
Actually,
he says it in a jokey way, which is like kind of even worse.
Yeah, not
Not
cool.
good. Not good.
We don't like that. The takeaway is don't wait until something catastrophic
Happens to your mom?
happen to anything.
I thought you were going to say something about you.
No. don't wait for something really, really awful to make changes in your life that would enhance it.
Yeah.
That's, I think, a good message to take away from it.
Yeah. I've got another one. Do you have more to add to that?
No.
Mine is make a soundtrack for things you like to do because it's really fun.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's really, I mean, yours is great. Mm-hmm. I also like don't say the N-word. Yeah. That's Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
There it is.
What are we doing next?
Next week is another true blue Halloween season movie. It is 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street.
We're doing another Wes Craven because we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And it's a classic.
We had a bunch of options here. We were thinking maybe Poltergeist or Friday the 13th or The Exorcist, but you know, we
cravening it up.
Yeah,
We're Craven.
We spoke with our inner circle and decided to go with A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
It is available on HBO Max.
Great.
Yeah, it's got one of the most iconic horror villains ever by one of the most iconic horror directors ever. Johnny Depp's first movie.
Yeah. And it was made into a great Will Smith song.
I was 1,000% going to talk about Will Smith's
Nightmare on My Street.
Do you know? I'll just say it now. That song was not in any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
No?
No, it was made for, I think, the fourth one.
Yeah.
And they just were like, we don't want this in the movie. So
where would that fit in a movie?
So we'll probably at the end, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. But when Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff put it on their album, they got sued because they didn't own the rights to Freddy Krueger.
Okay, but
So they said this isn't a song about Freddy Krueger.
That's amazing.
Freddy Krueger raps in the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, they should have put it in the movie because then it would have won Best Original Song.
I mean, easy, just get it up for an Oscar. Just get the nom.
Just get it.
You don't need. You're gonna beat Diane Warren.
I mean,
What,
yeah.
what else you got? What else you have to lose? What else you have to lose?
That joke is for like 5 people in the world.
Yeah,
Oh
Uncle
my
Nick
God.
P got that one.
Yeah, he did. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So the week after this, we are doing our poll. Sorry, we already did the poll. We're doing the result of the poll, which, as of this recording, we have not done the poll yet, but it's going to be Hocus Pocus.
I mean, that's our guess.
Yeah,
We'll find out.
We don't know what you voted for, but that's my expectation, and we're going to see whether it's right or not. And if it's wrong, I'm just going to edit it so that it's right anyway.
No, you're not.
Hocus Pocus it is in 2 weeks after.
It's either Hocus Pocus, Beetlejuice, or Nightmare. Nope. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, they already voted on it. They know it's Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus won with.
Tom is convinced that Hocus Pocus can't lose.
Hocus Pocus won with 58% of the vote.
Oh my gosh, that's a
Super
bold
majority.
claim. Let's see.
Yeah. So as usual, follow us on Instagram at Baby's First Watchlist, on Twitter at Baby's Watchlist. Tell a friend. We're doing this again.
Tell a baby.
Tell a baby. I don't care if it's your cousin, your nephew, your niece, your child. Tell them.
Just tell them. They need to listen.
Get them a phone.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then so we will see you for A Nightmare on Elm Street next week. And we hope you don't have scary dreams after you watch it.
Oh my God, Tom.
I don't. That's why I've never watched it. I don't want to have scary dreams.
No nightmares on our street.
It's true.
All right.
We'll see.
Bye.